So as usual, so before we begin the spiritual practice, so it's very important to fully relax your body, and feel comfortable. And when we sit or when we get together, like in this place, so whether or not, we experience a true sense of, peace, happiness, and joy within ourselves or not, so it is much dependent upon what kind of state of mind that we have within ourselves.
says only done never said that Panzer never the mother to Ligaton never Sainton never young yard. Is not Ligaton never said to the mother Kebaya. Kebaya, there, Ligaton, Javade, Yabu Mayon, I said, that's in the Panzer Yabu Mayon. In the chill, Mother don't come out, moment, I tell you. Mother. Panzer said that Fabe, you want there, Ligan David to Mayama, no second David to me. Second Yabatella says Humani. Says Humbin Yabat, Panzer Chin, Drol, said that Fabe, she will have to you. Sam Maria killed Panzer Yabata, said Panzer Nigan Madia, she would check you. Not tell that any, some under the key. Matin Roto Senna, they are Soto Senna, the Michi, some Maduchi, in Yegan, the Vata.
So just as it's important for us to generally to enjoy a good health of the body, like how if we physically if we are unhealthy, then we cannot be really happy, and so on. Because of this, so we trying to keep our our body as healthy as much as possible, and also with regard to the maintaining the health or the hygiene of the body, so we especially if we compare with when we look at the health or the hygiene of our mind, so we are pretty good at that, and we have at least have a good knowledge about our maintaining good health of our body, and however, as we know, simply having a knowledge is not sufficient. We have to put those knowledge into practice, even in terms of our maintaining a good health. So therefore, when we don't put those knowledge into practice, then we do time to time we do face some the illness, physical illness, and as a result, then we we do feel have to suffer, and now so therefore the kind of the relationship that we have or we established ourselves with our body is also important. Okay, so now more important than that is the kind of relationship that we establish with our mind, which is really if you look overall if you look at the source of our overall well-being, then it's really more important than our physical health is we should be looking after about educating ourselves about the health, about the hygiene of our mind, and through these in another words, important for us to establish a good relationship with our state of mind. And now, of course, when we talk about the building a relationship with our mind, then we are just simply talking about just to looking, within our mind, within our mental continuum, and to recognize in there, we have a positive or a very like a wholesome state of mind, and on the other hand, there's a negative and unwholesome or a destructive state of mind, and so if we look at this, the impact of these two states of mind on us, on our life, then we will find that how the negative states of mind is really serve as a continuous source of harm for oneself and for others. And so in a sense that if we have that negative state of mind, negative mental attitude, then there's no way then we can be really, be at peace and be happy. And also then it's very difficult for us even to prevent causing harm to towards others. So therefore, we have to understand that it's important to recognize in our all in our life the importance of understanding our mind, and also to the keeping taking care of the good health or the hygiene of our mind, and through this to develop a good relationship, establish a good relationship with our own mind or a way of thinking as well.
네, 나서는 상태도서. 네. 네, 뒤에 가서 있는 매능에 내가 손을 만든데 지고. 새끼가 서서 내 조시. 새끼가 서서 이제 뭐대 조서는 다 능이 조시. 근데 새만도 예, 능이 서서 이제 좀 셔러서. 그치 녀석이 난다시야. 너희들 但是这把肉我这特别大的开心个三十啊，特别大的出现个的啊，30人，这里俺这俺这叫了大家说的，这就没得了。那你在大街这个谈那些的，俺那人是，但是这大多钱，全部大多的话的。 현재 뭐가 가서 그러나 특별히 이게는 정말 야야 특별히 나 제퍼스 수반이 된 통무야 강에 달 돼서 된지 현재 정말 제일 온도가 봐 대응하고 잡아도 현재 하고 주나 까지는 하는 렌 제별 내가 몇 개씩 용 거야 렌 제별 손을 만든 대야 처음부터 봐지 용 거야. 렌은 제별 손을 써서 내가 많이 봐지 용 거야. 내가 맞아 봐지 용 거야. 생 제별 제 돈이가 내가 나오면 뭐야. 현재 내가 말아. 근데 뭐가 중요하냐. 저를 중요한 상도를 제 정말은 대세거래.
So I'm trying to show to you the how the within us how when we cultivate, when we produce a certain state of mind, and then this state of mind then really is like a serve, or in a sense it's kind of supports the what we seek in our lives, such as like a happiness, and whereas there's a certain other state of mind which if we look into it, then those state of mind then it's like they serve as an impulses to for us to engage in non-virtues or any negative or destructive actions, and therefore these state of mind then kind of acts like a supporting cause for us to experience misery and the sufferings. So in this way, what I'm trying to explain is to try to apply this knowledge of our mind to our everyday life experience. For example, if we were to, like for many of us, it's the, having living a very harmonious relationship with others is very important for our own happiness. So like we all know that how, when there is a harmony in our, like in our family or in our relationship, then whatever the other, regardless of other things going on, so there could be some sort of stable peace and happiness in that family. And whereas when we lose that harmony, then somehow, regardless of what other good condition we surrounding our lives, so we will be lacking that peace and happiness of the family. So therefore, in that context, in the context of now bringing harmony in our family or in our relationship, now what kind of we look into our state of mind and then trying to recognize what kind of state of mind that if we cultivate and try to develop that, and that would serve as a supporting cause to bring harmonies. And it's important to recognize that, and likewise also to recognizing how when one cultivating or developing some certain other state of mind, then how this can be very damaging to one's relationship and to general harmony in the families. So therefore, if I give an example of some certain state of mind which can be a guaranteed cause to bring about a harmony in one's relationship is a love, cultivating a true love, compassion, and a sense of genuine sense of like a care and the kindness towards others. So when we have that, and then this can more we develop, more we bring that in our relationship, that the love, compassion, care, then this can be ensure harmony. And when there's a harmony, so there is a happiness for oneself and all the other who involved in the relationship. So therefore we can appreciate the importance of the happiness on our mental level. It's so much so that how when we enjoy that, then even if on a physical level, on a material world, for example, sometime like despite all our effort, that we would face certain like a physical health problems, and there are also certain external adversary situations which are sometimes unavoidable. We face those things with difficulties, and however, despite all these external adversaries and even the illness, physical illness, despite all this, if one on a mental level, some level, through one's own way of thinking and perspective of the situations, if you are able to maintain, able to reconcile yourself with the situation, then we can still what we call as the happiness, the peace, which we can still have or experience that even under this circumstance.
Yeah. That some that 당이在一直人开那个现在在一直了蛮多个这抓清楚人蛮多嗲的是吧老可了安给怎么拿的可了开这个呀没得抓清楚了开这个了没得抓清楚没得嗲的抓清楚他对了吧他说蛮对的他抓清楚是吧你呢这是的他嗲的他开了的你我你的世界的用个用没没谁的你个生个嗲的是什么生用的那么的牛呀 얘다 세가 대야 자 전부 좋아 그 네 자의 예술톤 세 대야 용거로 세 대야 자 전부 세 자의 예술 뭐저 맞은 세 대야 자 전부 정말 가요 그 용게서 말이 그 깨뜨게 막는 그때 그나게 문도 가버려 왜 용게 싸니래 그냥 많은 용이야 근데 얘다 자 전부 저된 게 만도 세가 대야 시대스 자 전부 시대스 야 근데 시대에 아니야 뭐 롱이나 시대에 롱이 세서 뭐라 Zombie is Zombie says what Raleigh standard in the one. The day that means it, Mother the other, says over Raleigh. You know, says over the iron, says the iron. The day that Mother says over condition, says over southern Java said that can you sell it? My Lord didn't say what I had to get up. And most and all.
So essentially, so we, we are talking about finding out what is the most important things, the something which is most like cherishable, cherishing thing for us. Something which is, if we have a wish list, if something which is on the top of our list, so which is the top of our list, which is really on the happiness and joy, and so therefore the if that is the case, then we do have to really have to seriously give a thought on the how to achieve that happiness, because we have to understand that even though we seek and we wishes for happiness, but if you don't create the right causes and conditions, then it's not going to simply waiting or hoping for that happiness somehow to happen. And if you do that, then it's not going to happen. And so therefore, because it is the fact that the happiness that we seek is contingent upon like causes and conditions. So unless those causes and conditions are gathered, are made, so it will never come to us, and so therefore, we have to think about it on that. What are the causes and conditions, and I have been given a lot of thought on that, and so from my own the observations, so then I always say that the main cause is cultivating a positive state of mind, or such as like a good heart within us. If we talk in terms of the only person as an individual persons, so whether the person is the main cause of happiness for that individual person is really depends on the positive, having a positive state of mind within that person's. And similarly, if you talk the happiness on a world, on a global level, then it is depend on the people of the world, the state of what kind of state of mind or the mental attitude that people in the world adopt within themselves, and so therefore therefore it is important to understand that it's not sufficient, just simply wishing for happiness, but in fact to clearly understanding that it is what you wish for is, depend on causes and condition, and so therefore, one must, create causes and conditions, and also, of course, then the next thing is if we have to create causes and conditions, then we have to identify, we have to recognize what is the main cause for bringing about happiness in our life, and so therefore I say here that the main cause is this. Is cultivating and developing a positive state of mind, positive mental attitude, and that, in fact, that is what is all the spiritual practice is all about, is to cultivating that and to habituating ourselves with the positive mental attitude. So just to recognize that how your own that peace and happiness is dependent upon your own having the correct state of mind, correct mental attitude within yourself, and then to understand that if when once or you enjoy once you enjoy the within yourself a mental peace and happiness, then you are in a very good position to be able to benefit others and to bringing them this peace and happiness in their lives, such as especially those who you you share your life with, you live your life with, so you'll be able to benefit them, and so in a sense and then we were also talking about how then to this mental peace and happiness, and how it is the dependent upon the cultivating a positive state of mind and such as good heart within oneself, and so therefore our focus should be on how to cultivate that, and how one should on a everyday life, how one can become more kind of habituated or familiar with this adopting and this maintaining a positive state of mind. Yes.
That's something. That's something that Geshe Doga says most of it. Says more, says you want you so that the other long Korea. Geshe Doga says more, and they don't go in, and they don't say more you that didn't enter the she go. Didn't enter the she, they taught the she son, and then you says over leg. Says over girl is out. Some to other says over the usual kind says over the candidate. Says over my other, Jay Garden, touch a garden, you want to the garden, table that, some to not some over, yeah, some dead with that. So now you might be saying to yourself that what are these you have said, you have mentioned in terms of how important is the to cultivating this positive state of mind, and then how, if we have that, if we bring about this positive state of mind, then we can naturally brings happiness in our life. So you might be saying to yourself, yes, everything you said is all correct, all right, and then
however, now the next thing is to also to understand that the simply gaining a knowledge, about this, that the fact that to say to yourself, yes, I must cultivate a positive state of mind in order to bring more stable peace and happiness in our life. So simply saying that and simply knowing that, of course, is not enough. It's not going to, certainly this happiness, you're going to, bring more peace and happiness to your life. So therefore, now the next thing you also need to ask, this question now: what are the causes and conditions which are, which are suitable for bringing, this the positive state of mind, and on the other hand, what are the other causes and conditions which prevent or which impeding one, from cultivating such a positive state of mind. So if you take into account of the what we have been discussing so far, then then there is a lot of questions or a lot of thoughts arises within us, and so therefore what I'm trying to do is to really to cultivate, to develop all this different knowledge and give you some different ideas and different perspective, to just trying to training oneself in this, to having all this, different perspectives of looking at things. So therefore now if we the continues on now in terms of if you look into in terms of what are the favorable, what is the most favorable conditions to produce a positive state of mind, and also to safeguard or maintaining the positive state of mind within us, then so I would say then it is the most favorable condition, most favorable tools for this is the meditation practice. Meditation practice. Now, the reason why, if you say that why the meditation practice actually bring about such mental positive state of mind, and it actually work to overcome all the the negative state of mind. So it's because the meditation practice, when because the purpose of the meditation practice, even if you look at the very purpose, and also if you look at the actual content of the meditation practice, then it is to do with the cultivating, or fixing, or training our mind on being able to focus on the virtuous objects. And so therefore it is meditation practice as a mental training. So it would fix the mind on the virtuous objects, and as a outcome, as a result of that, then our mind would be we overcome our mind being under the power or under the dominance or the influence of what we call as mental afflictions or delusions, and so therefore we would find, if we investigate much, a bit more closer, then really what brings the inwardly, what brings the unhappiness, what really disturbs us is even though we generally call it is a negative state of mind, but in fact it is some form of mental afflictions or a mental delusions, and so as long as our mind is under the control, under the influence of the mental delusions, then we cannot find peace and happiness. So therefore, however, through meditation practice, if we overcome that influence of mental delusion or afflictions and bring the mind under our own control, and so this is where then we will start to experience this sense of happiness and more space, and peace within ourselves.
다 손을 대서 내 아부선을 손을 대서도 너무 생각 대하대 영화대 소설 다시 참 소설라 누가 야 이제 다 맞지 제자는 다 용거는 와 갈래 제나 대선 또 가 다 내년은 다 들리지 그 손을 또 다시 참을 야마 맞아 소소 로도 봐 제통이 지어 된다래서 싫어 깨 떠지 이게 내가 내게 된다래서 더 좋아진 거 제가 이 바보 통나지 얘는 이해가 되니 내와데 빈노바가 내와 말았어 어롱이 싫어 떠지 내와데 빈노바가 내와 콘솔 쳐 얘는 얘는 맞대 좋아진 거 다 손처럼 들리도 내가 본 적이 산다데 아르시아가 이제 맞아 내가 내용도 못해 다시 손은 돈이 다 소소리야 맞아 다 시리 돈 시에 인이래야 제대 맞아서야 말해 누가 롱 데비 내가 세 대화데 롱 다시는 내가 봤다 게 손대도 봐 tempo soada ta tendere gojaga ta gote jan rume irala
so when we talk about happiness and peace, so we are more referring to the something, the peace and happiness which is within ourselves, and in another world, inner peace and happiness, and so this so in terms of in terms of this, or this inner peace and happiness, then it is, when we think about it, then we have all the means and all the wisdoms, discriminating wisdom, and all the capacities to be able to, fully capacity to be able to achieve that ourselves. It is not something, this, when we talk about this inner peace and happiness, so it is not, it is, in a sense, it is really fully within one's own reach. It is not something depending on the outer power or outer factors. So so therefore the in relating to this, the great Indian master like the Asanga, who said that the happiness which is the condition of which is dependent on other factor, on the the external factors, then it's not something we could have all the time. Whereas the happiness which is dependent upon condition of which is dependent upon ourselves, is something that we can have all the time. It's all within within our reach. So so therefore the here we're talking about the how it is a matter of the utilizing our own discriminating wisdom, discriminating power, or a rational mind in order to access that the inner peace and happiness. So rather, it is not something which is dependent in order to achieve that. It's not something dependent upon the outer factor, but rather more on yourself. So therefore, we can when we talk about the peace and happiness on the mental level, or a mental peace and happiness, then it is the main condition, main cause for achieving that is really then it's your own way of thinking. Your own is depend on what kind of mental attitude, mental state that you cultivate, we adopt within ourselves, and this is what so we engage in meditation practice in order to cultivate the right state of mind.
ngā kōrō kā ngā kīru tē un rōgō ndiwa. Tē jī bā sōnō tōna nē yāpō ndiwa shū tōngchē rī kā tēs tēnī dā sō nyēngō nirī rēs tēnī ngā tī sā njē gā rē kē un dā mā rō āchē tēs lō tē shū chī lō kō ndēbā shē rī wā mā nyēngō shē yī rā yē kōrō ndēbā mā shē rā tēntō rī rā sōnō tēntō ndō tā rī.
So the according to the Lama Tsongkhapas, then the meditation practice is the practice so wherein so we like literally tie our mind to the virtuous objects, and then we then trying ourselves to become familiar with that, to in a sense familiar with becoming familiar in retaining or keeping our mind on the virtue objects, and also furthermore the Lama Tsongkhapa also said that how in our situation is such that where where we we fall or prey to the to our mind, or we become fall under the control of our mind, and then however the mind that control us, then it is fall under the control of mental afflictions, and then it is as a result of this mental afflictions, then the persons caught in sufferings, or the shortcomings of the mental afflictions, caught in the shortcomings of the mental afflictions. So now the having however in a real situation, in fact when we think about the ourselves against our own mind, then we can clearly understand that in fact it doesn't have to be, we don't have to be under the control of our mind. In fact, we can be in a position to overpower our mind. We should be the controller, and the mind is something being controlled by us. So now when we are not able to do this, when we're not able to actually gain control over our mind, and then this situation, then our situation is such that sometimes when, for example, if we can be controlled by such as like a strong anger or hatred, and then the hatred can then really fully overpower us, and then as a person, if we do not recognize that we don't have to be under the control of the anger, that in a sense that we don't have to have to become a prey to, or to surrender to the anger, then there is a bit of opportunity for us to then to win over that anger. However, if we don't do that, we simply give ourselves in with the anger, and then we will be just doing whatever the anger wanted us to do. Even it means if it says to us, go and kill that person, we go and kill that person. If it says, if you got to tell lies to these things or steal things, we will simply follow that, and so therefore the how we can we know from our own experience that how when we are controlled by anger, then how there is no room for us to to find a peace peace and happiness within ourselves. And so therefore now the question is now how to overcome the anger, how to get rid of that anger, and is it possible to in getting rid of anger? So then we're saying here that it is possible, because for example, one of the conditions which feeds the anger is its object. So which means if we cut our minds are tied with that object of anger, and then the anger is then not possible to arise, to manifest at least. And so this is what exactly we're supposed to do in meditation practice. So in which we tie our mind to the virtuous objects, and in this process, so we are cutting off our mental tie with all the causes, or the objects, or the events that arouses any form of mental affliction, such as including this anger, and so therefore, there is no doubt that when we are able to cut our mental tie with all the object of the any mental affliction, then we will be preventing all the actual mental afflictions, and as a result, in a sense that we are preventing all all these mental afflictions to manifest, to arise, and this gives some sort of peace, true peace and happiness for our mind.
Yeah, says to each other, take the call level. Says to our set colors, says on the man was too long, good. You know, about the man of Sharache, the kitchen was your budget. Yeah, can go on Robin the shadow on the Trodon, Robin doing the Taje, Jane, Rona, say, there's a daughter that says Susan. Wow, yet a pan rover, that how to say yellow pan running, really. Geshe Doga says Susan. The money thing says Chadon, Jay Yelapa, Maton, said Nomsa, Nom, and I think that's something.
So through meditation practice, so we're trying to maintain the peace, happiness, and the serenities within ourselves, and also sometimes it is also meditation practice is also said as a means, in Tibetan is like a means to safeguarding, safeguarding our mind, safeguarding in the sense like a Tibetan word is sung, safeguarding our mind. So that means what is safeguarding is to trying to, through meditation practice. So we, in meditation practice, so we remain alert, we remain so aware, and we always observing our mind and mental activity, and so therefore through these observations, so we if there's any sign of the arising of mental afflictions, and then we kind of prevent that, and so in that sense, so we are safeguarding our mind. So meditation practice, where we are constantly actually observing, actually keep watching the mind to and knowing all the activity that take place, where our minds goes, which direction is going or not, so forth, and and also that's is a means of safeguarding our mind, and also it also can be a means of like a preventing or refraining from our mind from engaging in any the wrong objects, such as, so in that sense we use the word like a dom in Tibetan, which means to to prevent or to abandon, so which is as a means which kind of the right from the beginning, we stop. It enable us to prevent the arising of mental afflictions completely, right from the beginnings. So we will do some short meditation together. So just so before doing that, so just to understand that the what is the meditation practice is. So it is the practice where, so we, as we just discussed before, so where we really we fix our mind on a given objects, and so when our mind is the reason why we fix the mind on that objects is to in order to cut our mental tie with all other objects. So in plain language, to forget all the other objects, other things and event, so that mental can just sit on that objects. So therefore, we, for example, when we talk about the overcoming, such as like anger, strong anger. So one way is simply we can overcome that simply by forgetting about the object of the anger, whether it's a person, whoever it is. If you forget about that person, then you won't have the anger for that person. Then won't be cannot then arise within us, and so this is to do, as we were just saying before, how the various states of mind that we cultivate, various different types. So in certain way, the type of the mind, what type of mind that we have, is also to some way it is shaped by what kind of object that our mind occupy in itself. So just as like if you look at when we think about our mind is focused on a certain object, which is a black color, and if we focus on that, then in our mind, in our mental image, so there won't be any white color, just black. But so whereas if we shift to white object, something white color, then it is black. We can't have both at the same time. So therefore it is one way of overcoming the mental delusions or such as anger, so forth. So which is to just to trying to to shift one's mental focus on some different objects, rather than understanding that if you keep reminding ourselves of that object which arouses anger, then we cannot overcome, we cannot get rid of that anger. So rather, it is important to forget about that and to, in order to get a bit of break from that anger. So we have to forget about that object. So this is what on one sense the meditation practice is all about. It is to forget all those the objects, things, and event which brings disturbance, which brings stress and tension in our mind, and the way we do that is to fix our mind on the meditation objects, whatever that is. So more we are able to fix that. For example, if we are able to fix the mind fully and single pointedly on the objects, and then that means that we can then experience the genuine, the whole, or the totality of the peace and happiness within us.
Mando sono doni, della zani, della zani, regime che di mabuti saltini, sono una scivola che stanno dentro. C'era sempre differenza, tem um do céu. Lembra? Sono na tenda no jogo, sono todos. Ah, sono teto na abundo aida. Ah, goja tem, mas sono todos da. Scivola lembra, jumba, logo jumba scivola. Yumba Teto Dini, Teto, Denny, Gazata, Ginger Tatuna, Gangada, some Tentuna, Niabun Yuada, yet, how was they done?
So of course, in everyday life, we have been continuously using our mind, using like we've been usually, we will be thinking a lot in our mind. We be there's a lot of thoughts going on in terms of our our past, and our futures, and we can have a lot of hopes and dreams and fantasies and all that of things. But then when if we ask ourselves what we achieve, what kind of purpose that we achieve from the time that we normally spend on just thinking about various things, like the past and future, so forth, then we will notice that there's a lot of, most time there is no benefit. It is not really productive. There's nothing there. It's not there's no purpose for us to. It doesn't give some a purpose for us. However, if there is when we think about this topic of the meditation practice, then such as think over the meditation practice as a means to training our mind and so forth, and all the benefits and so forth, then we can actually recognize certainly the benefit for ourselves. So on the other hand, like how sometimes when we instead of giving any purpose or any benefit, how sometimes when we direct our thoughts to various things, it can simply builds more stress, and then even can end up in depressions. Just all result from our the inbuilt thinking over various things concerning our past and future, so forth. So the kind of peace and happiness that which we can achieve or access through meditation practice, so is something that which is, as we said before, is not conditioned upon any external factors, external living conditions. So you can a person can meditate, engage in meditation practice alone, and then can achieve that peace and happiness within within oneself, and so therefore from that perspective, so the meditation practice can be, we can call as it is our the excellent friend, and also we can also call what we achieve in gain in meditation practice, which is such as when we through meditation practice we bring about a very positive state of mind within us, and we can say those positive state of mind and as the most reliable kind of protections and refuge and so forth. So no. So it's important that when we engage in meditation practice, so we have a clear understanding of the essence of the essential purpose or the key purpose of the meditation practice. So because if we do not understand this, then like there are certain cases where people saying like they they enjoy the meditation practice, say whatever that period of time they spend in there, like 1 to 2 hours. But however, as soon as they finish the meditation practice, and then they would immediately, their mind and everything will get back to our normal mind, and they will even the very easily get lose their temper or get angry at other persons. So so therefore we have to, if you understand, whereas when we understand the key point, key purpose of the meditation practice, then we then the benefit of meditation practice, so it doesn't kind of ends with the meditation practice. So even it helps even when we after the meditation, when we move on to our just everyday life, as a benefit of meditation practice, we are more there's a more awareness, more mindfulness, and also there's a more understanding of what to do and what to not do. So there's more knowledge there, and so therefore it's important, as we were just saying before, when we engage in meditation practice. So it's important to direct one's mind inward, and to observe one's thoughts, and to see, within one's mind, if it is any mental affliction, arising or not, and then accordingly, one, adjusting or training one's mind in the practice. So in this way, so the not only meditation practice, give us peace and happiness during the time, but even afterward, it help us to be to a better persons.
Geshe Doga said that Sandup Tsering me alu quality masses. Lord Goja looked at the design too much. That's why she was shooting. That called God knows it. Yeah. That is, Jamba she dagger, the cold Doma Chimajor, she wasn't right. Kiss at 10,000 she was. They have she was the rest, and one Gojan looked at the channel, the annual quality masses. And you tired it, Georgia Galchena. I chose some dead of that. Some dead of stuff, and that some dead of some other God is that.
The great Adisha, said that the mindfulness and alertness are the supreme, friend, or the most reliable, friend. And so I've also, quite, frequently to emphasize in my Dharma talk that the importance of always being applying this mindfulness and alertness even in our everyday life. That even in everyday life we should be always thoughtful and very aware of our own actions, that which we create through body, through speech, and the mind. And so the relation with this, so there's one woman, who's been studying certain spiritual practice for over like 10 years, as part of some other group, and then she, after listening to some my teaching, and then one day she made this comment that in those last 10 years, over 10 years, she never heard of this word mindfulness and alertness or the awareness, and she said that this is for her. This is the real like a spiritual like instructions, spiritual really like a bit instructions, and so this of course is really what she has found. So it's actually exactly in aligned with the advice by this great Adishas, and so it's very important. This application of the mindfulness and alertness or awareness is important in meditation practice as well as in our everyday life as well. So the meditation practice that we will do is the breathing meditations. So in this meditation, so our breathing in and out. So this is like an object of our meditation practice, and so the objects. So where we supposed to fix our mind or direct our mental focus or attention on it, and so just as the how it's like if we walk towards a wall, and then when the person hit the wall, he can't go any further. So it's similarly when we fix our mind on the objects, to meditation objects in a similar way. When it's fixed, then it is like a mind stays there fully, and or in a sense, or in another example, how if we place certain object, very carefully, but if we move the object a little bit further, then it will it will fall down on the ground, and similarly, so the fixing the mind, it's like that. If it's not fixed, then the mind, we lose the mind. So therefore now the in meditation practice, so the main tools that we need to apply is, as I said, as we discussed before, is the mindfulness. So which in simple term is really a power of memory, and which we have to retain. So that means what we have to do is, as we are when we engage in meditation practice, so we got to remember that I'm engaging in meditation practice, and so therefore in this practice we have to remember that the object for which I have to focus on, I have to direct my mind on, is the breathing, in and out, or the, in and out, and so therefore when we are able to utilize this the tool of mindfulness, then we are able, then we can then actually direct the mind, sit the mind on, or let the mind abide in the meditation objects when this, because of the force, because of the force or the power of the memory, and then as we stay there, whether or not how long and how effectively our mind stays or abides in the objects. So that's something then depends on what we call as the meditative concentrations. Now, meditative concentration is now also kind of a part of our mental factors, and so therefore technically speaking, so when we talk in meditation practice, so say with the mindfulness, when we focus, when we direct, we will be able to direct our mind or our consciousness upon the objects. So in that context, so that our consciousness or our mind is not considered as a concentration itself, nor the mindfulness or the memory that we apply, that is also not a concentration itself. So rather, concentration is another kind of part of our mind, or in another word, within our mind there is it has this some sort of ability or capacity to cause the mind to abide in objects. So that power, the power or the capacity of which our mind or the consciousness possesses, so that is the concentrations, and so which if we develop that, then the mind will be able to focus on the object, single pointedly or fully on the objects. So just keeping all these things in mind, or can we now we will begin this breathing meditations, and just make sure you let go of all the thoughts, like all the distracting or outgoing thoughts, and let the mind fully abide or reside within ourselves, and then we begin by directing the mind on breathing in and out. Okay, thank you. So, not much time left, but maybe a little bit. So if you have a question, please feel welcome to. Any question? Yeah.
I was wondering how many minds we actually have. So if we talk about positive minds and we're talking about negative minds and we're talking about watching your mind, who is watching and how many minds do we have?
Logical 시기에서 사고 셈 조랑에 셈 상보다 냠발 담 마다세다 되네 셈세들 나갈 수 있다. 그 예화를 지나도 먼저 가져요 그래서. Yeah, 51.
The mental factor.
Mental factor.
Never get it there, rejected there, Mandaya, Chelsea, there's Mandaya, total, much, saying much, said the saying, saying much, said the time, much to set the general, said the saying, yes, says say mother that say eat machine take it. There are no she trees on the river. Say you there, send much. Nothing wrong with it.
No.
I don't
Yeah. So your question really touches on the topic of the mind and the mental factors. So relating to these, so when we there is some detailed explanation in the Precious Garland, and what you find there is a bit different from the explanation in the compendium of Asanga's compendium of knowledge. And so, but in generally speaking, so we talk about the when you talk about the mind, we can talk in terms of the primary mind or the secondary mind. So secondary minds are like mental factors. So so in this study of the mind and the mental factors, in Tibetan, so so it is we have to be careful here with the usage of the terminologies, but in the we say it is said that the mind, generally, okay, the mind and then the consciousness and the awareness. So in general terms, so these are all same, yi, namshe. These three are synonymous, okay, synonymous, and then and these are then divided into two, like a primary mind and then the mental factors. So the primary mind, so normally, so these are the primary mind, like when you talk about the consciousness or the awareness or the mind. So the primary minds, so normally 6, primary minds, 6 types, from the eye, sense, consciousness, so forth. And then the mental factors or the secondary types of mind, so there are 51. Yes. So as a primary mind, so its the function is mainly to simply to know, simply knowing or being aware of its the main objects, and whereas the secondary or mental factor, then it goes into the knowing the specific, like the characteristics of that of the objects. So, for example, we can talk about the eye sense consciousness as a primary mind, and which whose main focus or the main function of the object, that as a primary consciousness is just to recognize, to see the main object, that is a visual form. And then now then when you look there, then whether the knowledge about the specific feature of the object, that in terms of its, whether the object perceived is good or is attractive or not, and it's in terms of its the other features. So that is the something which is the recognized by the various mental factor which arises in concomitant with that primary mind. And then when we talk talk about all these mental factors, which we can be which are categorized into those 51, and then one of the group of those 51 is called as the 5 like omnipresent mental factors, so which include such as the feelings, recognitions, and the discriminations, so forth. So these 5 omnipresent mental factors. So it is something which is indispensable, or which is something must be always accompanying with the consciousness that which we arise. So there's always the consciousness or the primary mind is always accompanied or by these 5 omnipresent mental factors. So like the feelings, which we all know can be in terms of like pain, pleasure, and neutral, so forth. And then another one of the omnipresent mental factor is like volitions or volitions, or like a bit like intentions. So which is something which has the function of directing or driving the mind to the objects. No. Kishla said maybe a lot of people in the West that you don't accept the indifferent or a neutral feeling. Do you accept that feeling can be a neutral? Can be neutral. Not pain, pleasure. Yeah. Neutral. Can you feel the neutral feeling?
We call it blank.
Blank, yeah.
Like neither this, neither that.
Yeah. Blank. Nothingness. So when you talk of blank, it's almost like no feeling. Yeah. But in Buddhist study of mind, so it's probably there's more to that. No. So when a person is in a deep sleep, of course there is person has a feeling, but usually it's not feeling of pain or pleasure, but mainly it's a neutral feeling. So the indication of the person that we have a feeling of this neutral feeling or indifferent feeling is that when we perceive an object, if that doesn't give us any pain or pleasurable feelings, so that is the indication that there's neutral feelings. So we leave the question here and we'll chant the Buddha's mantra. And so make sure as we chant, we focus directly our mental focus. So thank you, and you all have paid very good attention to the teaching, and thank you for that. So I've said in my talk that always trying to keep your mind, happy, joyful, and also whenever possible to trying to learn and do the meditation practice. And so I should also say that in here, so you got these wonderful resources here in meditation center here. So you should make the best use of this by the participating in this meditation programs or the teaching program here. So one good feature of this place, so it's kind of very quiet and it's isolated a place, and because it is said that as for beginner is such place is more suitable for meditation practice, and then it is when you make some progress on your practice, meditation practice, which you conduct in such a quiet and a very isolated place. Once you make some progress, then you can try the practice in the in a busy and noisy place. And in addition, as we all know, so this place is not just very nicely and isolated, but it's also very blessed by His Holiness Dalai Lama's, with his presence here. So which makes then this place even more suitable for meditation practice. Thank you and enjoy lunch.